You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Well.
I fucking knew it was going to start this way.
No. This is podcast material here.
Yeah.
If you guys may remember, on Tuesday, we talked about someone potentially getting sick here. And then the next fucking day, dude.
You know what, though? You tell the people what happened. You tell the people. I came to work specifically because I knew you were going to talk shit.
He came in here. He had that sick kind of voice going. He's like, and I was like, dude, just go home.
My head hurt
go home.
So bad.
I'd rather have you be at home than at work, honestly, because then we both get sick and then whatever.
The thing is like, I don't even know, because like, I've seen parents posting on social media, like friends of my kids. There are colds going around right now. I didn't think this was it. I just had this throbbing fucking headache yesterday.
Because you were lying to me? Is that what it was? Did you have, like, guilt?
No! If I had guilt, I wouldn't have, or if I was really lying to you, I wouldn't have come all the way here just to turn around and go all the way home.
Actually, that might be the move. You actually show up to work and...
The commitment. Brother, you know me well enough to know I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
There's no way if I was not sick.
But that's the idea, is if you go to work and you actually show up and start making all the noises and eat a banana and spit it in the garbage and be like, oh, I just puked. I legit did that in the 4th grade to get out of school one time.
Mushed it up in your mouth and then just...
I puked it up in my Ziploc bag and I showed the teacher and she was like, oh, go to the office. And then I didn't realize that both of my parents were at work. So I just sat in the office in like the like little health room, nurse's office, whatever you want to call it.
The whole day?
Not the move.
Damn.
Not the move.
You gotta think smarter than that, brother.
Yeah. And that's where all the teachers took their dumps is what I learned that day.
Oh, no. You know way too much about the faculty at that point.
Yeah.
You can't look the health teacher in the eye after knowing what they did to that bathroom.
It's really tough to learn the ins and outs of a school sometimes, you know? But if you're planning on being sick, maybe show up to work. That could be the move.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is it's if I get sent home by you made that decision. I tried to come into work yesterday, as opposed to if I call it, Dalby
the more
called
you
in
talk,
sick
the more
again.
bullshit it sounds, actually. Let's get into the podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Last night, I was watching a compilation of John Mayer's guitar face. You ever seen that video before?
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen the same one, but that man definitely does some things to his face muscles that are beyond explanation.
Every guitar player does guitar face.
Yes.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google guitar face right now.
Yeah, it's a safe search. Okay, Google. You'll
Hendrix,
be fine.
Prince, Eddie Van Halen, everybody who plays the guitar, even if you're just starting out, for some reason, as soon as you start being able to shred,
Yeah.
it's almost like a mix of like taking a number 2 and making love at the same time.
But it's like, you know how people call it when you play the guitar and you do something really cool? It's a tasty lick.
Yeah.
It's almost like it feels like you're tasting it. You know what I mean? Like your face just contorts in a way. It feels like eating like a sour candy or something like that.
Yeah.
You're just like...
I neither of us can play the guitar, so
No.
but I would just assume that it's something that you almost do. It's like if you're trying to loosen something that's too tight, you start like almost like you make like a face kind of thing.
Your face scrunches up. It's like if you need to flex other muscles, whether it be in your hands or your arms or even your fingers, it's like by tensing your face, you like boost your strength stats.
Yeah. I think guitar face is like the plumber's crack of the music world, you know?
I'll tell you right now, I'd rather be known for my guitar face than my plumber's crack.
Yeah.
I don't want that going. I don't want that compilation video.
Plumbers must get bummed out about that. Like,
Yeah, because whether you wear loose-fitting clothing, heavy belts, whatever it might be, you could be a plumber that takes all the precautions to make sure that no part of your ass is ever exposed. But as soon as you tell people you're a plumber, they're going to start thinking it.
there's guitar face, there's plumber's crack. What are some other, like, I guess would you call them stereotypes about jobs or body part stereotypes?
Does tennis elbow count? People who play tennis always got that one wonky elbow.
Tennis elbow would be one. I guess carpenter's hands I've heard before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mailman calves.
Mailman calves. Mailman legs in general.
Yeah.
Just powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful legs.
If you see a mailman that doesn't have a couple of tree trunks on the bottom there,
they're new.
Yeah.
They just started.
They ain't getting those 10,000 steps in a day.
You know what, though? They'll get there. They'll get there. They'll be massive within the year.
There's a vast comparison between a Canada Post worker and a UPS guy.
100%.
UPS guy's rolling with those skinny legs.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. See what Brown can do for you? Not build mass, that's for sure.
I'm going to start calling them chicken legs. That's what they are.
I don't know why we're going in on UPS today.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We've got a friend of the show, Chris, on the phone. What's one you've heard?
Well, I was a butcher for years and gripping that knife and slapping it through the meat all the time. It's, big forearms, strong wrists, and a mean handshake.
Butcher's forearms?
Big forearms, yeah.
Damn, you know what? I never thought about it before, but it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Just my one forearm compared to handshake and everything's 20 times stronger than than my left, right?
There's a dirty joke there, but I won't go there.
Yeah. No, not that. Just gripping the knife.
Thanks for calling, Chris. I would say even like working in the kitchen, I guess you could say kitchen fingertips.
Kitchen fingertips, yeah. Like when I watch videos of like Gordon Ramsay showing off recipes and stuff like that, and he's just picking up hot pans or touching hot food, and I'm just like, how are you not in agony right now?
I think you could even say like Fryer's arm of just getting like grease all over your arms all the time.
All the spatter. Or if you've worked a griddle, if you make like a lot of bacon for breakfast, you probably don't have a lot of feeling. Do you think there's busboy biceps? Like, do you think busters who've been doing it for a long time lifted all those trays?
I think you could say there's ice cream scooper forearms as well.
Oh, yeah. When you watching it, just get in there and like pull the perfect scoop out of a hard frozen ice cream.
We've all heard of the farmer's tan before, but a lot of people texting in about the roofer's tan as well. Also, the roofer's tooth is a big one as well.
What is a roofer's tooth? Do we need? Okay,
you don't need to get into that
Maybe
one.
we just move on from that.
Hands of a surgeon is big. Miner's lung, people are saying there as well.
I think I have that. I think that's from smoking.
Swear like a trucker is a big one, but we've also got someone on the phone. You had another trucker one there?
Like the trucker butt one. I'm a truck driver, so you get that all the time.
When do you see trucker butt? You got it planted in the seat the whole time.
Yeah, well, when you get out, you got the trucker butt thing going on. It's like almost like swamp ass.
Oh, I thought you were saying that like truckers were known for their booties, is what I thought you were saying.
No.
It's more of a concoction than a trait.
Yeah, it's something you can't see. You really don't want to see. But
yeah, I think you can keep that one to yourself. Yeah.
Anyone who drives for a living, has got swamp ass, basically.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, it's nasty. It can be a bad thing.
Oh yeah. I think we've all experienced trucker butt before.
I was with you when I thought he was talking about like having like a certain curvature. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I guess they gotta like squat down all the time to work on the tires and stuff like that. Maybe they're doing a lot of squats.
I will say, I don't know if anyone listening right now is really big into cycling. I think there's such thing as like biker's butt too.
Oh, for sure.
If you haven't ridden a bicycle in a long time, go for like a 20-minute bike ride. Your ass is gonna hurt so bad.
100%. You really do need to numb a lot of the nerve endings down around the tailbone if you're gonna be a routine cyclist.
Yeah.
Another one I saw here is mechanic's chest. Says, when have you ever seen a mechanic with a shaved chest? They all got the overalls that come down with the zipper, just unzipped enough to let you know I got some hair.
I don't trust a mechanic that doesn't have any body hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to have a full chest full of hair. That's how I know that he's trying to sell me more than my car needs.
I need you to look somewhat like Chewbacca, all right? I don't trust anyone who doesn't have any chest hair working on my damn car.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Saw a study the other day. You know, we love our studies here on the show. Said Gen Z is the most current generation that's like growing up and going through. I think the kids now are alpha, but Gen Z are the ones that are coming up through high schools and stuff like that. Apparently 70% of them say they will not answer the phone if you call them.
I think that's honestly most generations of people nowadays.
Yeah, more and more there's getting to be less and less of a reason to answer the phone. They say basically, if you need to get a hold of me, send me a text. If it's too much to text, because I get that, there's a lot of writing, then send me a voice note, which, by the way, you can send us voice notes now at 762-555. So we are officially a Gen Z-friendly show. But do you agree with that? Would you rather get a voice note than a phone call?
I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't send the voice note myself. I think most people, I actually don't believe that because most people hate the sound of their voice.
Well, there's that, but also I thought it was interesting because for the longest time, I think around your generation was the first to start. It was also, don't send me a voicemail. Like, if you call me and I don't answer, don't leave a voicemail. But now we're sending voice notes.
So bad. Every 6 months, I check my voicemail, and I have so many from my mom and dad. They always are just like, "Hey, it's me. Please call me back."
The only reason I check my voicemail with any kind of regularity is because on my phone I get an unswipeable notification when I have a voicemail.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just for the OCD of having a clean screen. I need to listen to and delete the voicemail so that my phone will leave me alone about it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I mean, we talked about it a few months ago about the phone call thing where most people are just like, if it's important, you can send it to me in a text.
Yeah.
But yeah, the voice note thing, I don't know. I wouldn't do it just because I'd feel stupid taking a voice note in public, to be honest with you.
Yeah, depending on where you are, sitting at a mall or something like that and just being like, "Hey, it's me. When you get this, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah, it's almost like when you see people FaceTiming in public.
That drives me crazy.
Right?
I don't need to see you. I don't need to see the person you're talking to. I don't need to hear what either of you have to say, especially because the worst part about taking a phone call in public is when someone puts it on speakerphone. FaceTime calls are permanently on speakerphone. You cannot be on speakerphone. And I just don't care about your conversation enough.
Yeah, I see people doing it at the gym all the time, which is the weirdest thing. They'll just be standing there on FaceTime on the treadmill, and it bugs me when you're walking by them.
Right. And also, you're at the gym. How important is this call? You can just hang out and chat. Oh, no, I'm not busy. I'm good. I'm not doing anything.
One of the weirdest things to do in public, honestly.
Yeah, the video call thing, I appreciate it as someone who has family that lives on the other side of the country. It's nice to be able to see their faces. It's nice for the kids to be able to see their faces.
To be honest, though, can we be honest? When everybody is on FaceTime, you're not actually looking at the person, right? You're looking at yourself. 90% of the time, if you're on FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever it is.
That's true.
Nobody's actually looking at the person they're talking to is the best part.
It's a combination of one, our egos. We want to make sure that we're looking good and stuff like that. And also you just get distracted by am I looking at the camera? Do I look funny? Am I paying attention? I'll even I'll look at myself to make sure that I look like I'm paying attention to the person who's talking to me. It's almost like a subconscious thing of I need to make sure I look like I'm attentive on the call because it's so easy to get distracted.
But then you're really not attentive because you're thinking about being attentive.
Exactly. I'm overthinking it, and now I'm doing the thing that I was worried about in the first place.
Yeah.
Or you're my kids, and you're just doing filters the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is when you get on there with anybody under the age of 15, and they're just putting on filters or doing the little games and stuff like that. It's why are we doing this?
90% of the time when I'm FaceTiming, I'm just oh, man, do I have double chins?
That's it. You're looking at yourself and adjusting the angle of the phone.
When did I get this fat, man?
How do I hold this so that I look attractive? What am I doing here? You know what? I'll ask you this question.
Yeah.
Would you rather answer a video FaceTime call or answer the door for someone you weren't expecting?
I think I'd rather answer the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a big no from me.
Because the door I can just open and be like, no, thank you, but
and then close it again.
But the FaceTime feels like more of an obligation sometimes.
Oh no, I'd rather hit that big red button and cut somebody off. Whereas if someone's standing in front of me, I feel obligated to hear them out, which just that's the worst feeling.
I can shut down saying, "Have you heard the good word?" over my mom FaceTime. My mom FaceTiming me, I have a little more guilt, you know?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We've got friend of the show, Ashley, on the phone. What do you think?
Definitely the phone. definitely the phone because it's less awkward. And like Dalby said, you can just hang up. But I screen my door the exact same way as my phone. I have a peephole, and I will look through that. And if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not talking to you.
I will say it's even better now because most people have like those Ring doorbell cameras as well.
So you can like hide in your bedroom under the blankets with all the lights off.
Yeah, you can yell at someone through the opposite side of the door. You know?
Yeah.
Go away. I'm not home, I swear.
It'd be really a real funny move to just like stand in the door and just smile at them until they leave.
Just wave at them.
Just super awkward.
Stand there like you're the mom in Bates Motel with like the silhouette there.
Yeah.
See if you can figure out what they're there for and try to sell them whatever they're selling you. Oh, I'm glad you
Ooh,
stopped
I like
by.
that.
Yeah.
The old Uno reverse card.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think the move is to honestly just open up the door naked and they'll never come back again.
Well,
Or-
can you catch
or
a charge
not.
for that?
You
you're in
might
your
get a
own home?
stalker that way. You might get a stalker that way, Brock.
Yeah, what if they like what they see?
Yeah, that might be why they're there.
Well, I might have to do a quick Google here. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It does say it is illegal under Section 174 of the Criminal Code. Makes it illegal to be nude in a public place without lawful excuse. Could you find a lawful excuse for that?
Well, I think the loophole you're looking for is more public place. I mean, is your doorstep a public place? You are technically still in your own home.
If you put up signs that say private property, but then you put an S on the end where it says private's property, could that work maybe?
Yeah, basically like instead of beware of dog, beware of hog, you know what I mean? Just to let them know what they might be in for.
Nudist colony ahead sign, maybe.
And then that way, when you open the door and instead of the good word, it's the good look.
Because if you, and I've talked about it before, I walk around the house naked all the time. Like, if you get caught in the window, is that indecent exposure?
I think the argument is, why are you looking in my house?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the thing.
Are you a peeping Tom then if you're looking at, because I feel like you could go like tit for tat on that kind of thing, right?
It's like when you hear about people in like change rooms, dressing rooms, like flashing people and then calling them names.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call someone a peeping Tom for them having accidentally seen you naked.
Yeah.
I think they have to be like looking for it.
I pay my property taxes, right?
You're allowed to be naked in your own home. I don't know whether that extends to, are you allowed to then bring that nudity to somebody soliciting at your doorstep? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I think as long as you have a towel on, you could play the whole game of I just got out of the shower, I guess.
Right. And then, oh no, the towel fell down.
And if they keep forcing you, be like, listen, pal, like, I'm naked right now.
That's what I think Ashley was saying, though, is like, what if you do the whole, oh no, I dropped my towel, and the person's like, oh, I see where this is going. Right on. They try to come in the house.
Yeah,
you know?
then I'm getting that Amazon truck's number.
You're getting some gift cards.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's finally here. NFL season is kicking off tonight. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
And without further ado, I think it's time that we say, welcome back to the football season.
Absolutely. There are so many things to greet to welcome back as we talk about football coming back.
I mean, right off the bat, welcome back to forgetting to set your fantasy lineup. Welcome back. Also, on top of that, I mean, welcome back to having your first round pick get injured in week 1.
Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back to having to worry about your first round pick getting the Madden cover. Seeing a lot of people complaining about that lately. Yeah. Also, welcome back to not only it being acceptable to crack a beer before noon on a Sunday, but also to make a big old batch of wings for practically breakfast.
Welcome back. I will say welcome back to cheap pints at bars on Sunday as well.
That's true.
But also welcome back to buying those cheap pints just because you want to try and win one of those jerseys, but you go for every single week of football and you never win one of those jerseys. Sometimes you even wonder, do they give away the jerseys?
You all right, man?
It's like a bar here in town I have beef with, but We'll move on.
Welcome back to finally having plans on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
What were you going to do otherwise?
And on a Monday night, too.
And on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Just makes the whole week fly by, especially when they get some Friday, some Saturday games in there. My whole week is planned.
Welcome back to Scott Hansen in Red Zone and hearing your girlfriend go, oh, so you can focus on something.
No, I can't. That's why I need to watch the channel that flips between 12 different games at a time.
I'm multitasking.
Welcome back to being the most important person in your friend group, assuming you have the biggest TV out of all of them.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to hearing Chris Collinsworth go, here's a guy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to celebrating American Thanksgiving for no other reason than turkey and football.
Welcome back.
Oh, also, welcome back to Tony Romo just predicting plays better than he could when he was on the field.
Welcome back.
If the man had the game sense on the field that he does in the booth, he would have won 45 Super Bowls.
Of course, we got to say it. Welcome back to just getting unnecessarily irritated every time they show Taylor Swift on TV during a Chiefs game.
Welcome back.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and say it. Welcome back to having your entire day ruined by 12 strangers in jerseys.
Welcome back.
I say 12 because the ref counts.
Welcome back to the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely just having a collapse at some point this year.
Just mailing it in.
Yeah.
Just absolutely falling apart and being awful.
The Toronto Maple Leafs of football, as some people call them.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Did you see that yesterday was National Newspaper Carrier Day?
I did not.
Another very random, quote-unquote, national day that is just part of sort of the everyday silliness, but it did get me thinking. That is one of those first jobs for kids that feels like it's kind of going away.
Do kids even deliver the paper anymore?
There is. In my neighborhood, there's a kid that goes through once a week with like one of the weekly papers and a wagon, but I don't know how much like that kid is getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, my first job that I ever had was delivering catalogs.
Oh, okay, like Sears catalog, that sort of
It'd
thing.
be Sears catalogs, IKEA catalogs, whatever came through. I don't know. My mom signed up for like some company,
right?
And then we just get a crap ton of catalogs delivered to our house, and then my mom would put them in her trunk, and then me and my sister would just walk alongside the car, and I think we got like 10 cents a catalog, magazine, whatever it was, kind of thing.
I mean, good by doing it per catalog, like it's good incentive to actually get out and do it.
It sucked as a kid, though.
Oh, for sure.
It sucked getting off of school, and my mom was like, all right, let's go.
It's catalog day.
Yeah, she'd make a little game out of it, though, like whichever one of us got the most catalogs to the houses, got to pick where we were going for dinner that night.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
The only thing I've always wondered, and I bring it up to her, and she says she put it aside for it, but we were getting 10 cents a catalog. I don't remember. I don't remember ever getting a paycheck or a stub, a T4 or anything.
Say, your mom never cut you a T4 to let you know what you would earn.
I don't know if we were just like, my mom signed up for it and she used us.
She's like, I got 2 kids. I'll make so much money.
Free child labor right there.
So would you, because you said they were in the trunk, would you guys like be on the sidewalk and your mom just like slowly driving along?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that because I mean, it harkens back to the old days of, you don't see this anymore. The kids on the pedal bikes flinging newspapers at the houses and stuff like that.
I remember the first time we went, we started throwing them at the houses, and my mom was like, what are you guys doing? Because they're those heavy-ass catalogs, right?
The Sears catalog could take you out if you took it the wrong way. You could break a window with a Sears catalog.
The only thing that sucked was there was always like a bunch of leftover ones, so that's what we took camping as fire starters, like
for kindling. Yeah. That's what we always would use. We used to have like a little backyard fire pit back in the day, and we would always use the phone book because what else were you going to use it for? IKEA catalog makes just as much sense.
That was my first job, though. Yeah,
dude, man, I always thought that I would have loved to do the paper thing, but only if I could go back to like the 1950s and be like a newsie, like downtown yelling extra, extra. I always thought that was a sick first job. Just being like a young little street urchin with a bag
I feel
full
like
of papers.
those kids would disagree with you. Those kids were probably in some tough circumstances to be there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not ideal, but it just seemed like being downtown and yelling at grown-ups to buy your newspaper, making up headlines to try and make them buy it from you.
Yeah.
That sounded like a lot of fun.
I feel like there's probably a lot of jobs back in the day that we look at and be like, that would be fun that these people are just like, kill me now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. I mean, I still think it would have been better than my actual first job.
What
which
was that?
Working in a convenience store that was just outside city limits, like nobody came to.
How old were you with that?
I want to say I was 14. Yeah, it was like grade 8. It was like 14. My parents, we lived just outside of town, and they bought this old convenience store. And I remember too, because they were like, we got such a great price on it, such a great deal. It was like they were giving it away.
Did you ever steal smokes?
100%.
There you
Actually,
go.
no, I never stole smokes because I hadn't started smoking yet. I did steal almost everything else, though.
Man, that would have been the move. Going into high school, start stealing smokes, start selling them at school. I mean, the greatest job of all time.
I was still at a point where I was like, smoking is gross. Both my parents smoked, and I like used the time in that store to read all the, not nutritional information is not the right word, but you know where it lists like how much tar and tobacco and all that stuff is in the cigarettes? I studied all of them to tell my parents which brand was the healthiest to try and get them to stop smoking.
There's a learning curve there, yeah.
That's right.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
We got a lot of people texting in about their first jobs here, and I think the craziest thing about all of them is a lot of people started working at really young ages. We've got people as low as 5 years old claiming that's when they started working, 6, 7, all the way up to like 12 years old. It's crazy, the different labor laws over the years.
Well, that's just it. And then I think it also depends, too, on, like, if your family ran a business. Like, we have this text here, no name on it, but it says that my dad had a fish and chip store, and at age 4, I was the youngest of my cousins. I was responsible making coleslaw for the restaurant at 4 years old, which, again, like, once there's a family business, like, you're kind of expected that you're going to...
You got to put in some work, yeah.
You're going to be in the shop, so to speak, as opposed to other people who, a lot of people are saying they did the same as you with the delivering magazines, newspapers.
Graham just texted in and says there's no labor laws on a farm.
Dude, yeah, that's honestly...
That is true.
Probably where you're most likely to work at a very young age.
There was times where we slept over at my buddy John's house, and then all of a sudden we'd be out in the back, like, shucking hay and stuff like that.
It's crazy. Like,
his mom's like, we're going to have all these boys out here. We're going to put them to work. Like,
you're in elementary school, and you're asking your buddies, like, hey, do you want to, like, have a sleepover or come over and play games or something? Like, oh, no, I gotta work at, like, age 12, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also saw this text here from Mark. Sometimes you got a really cool job when you were still young. Says, my first job was filling the beer coolers at a hotel in Timmins. 14 years old. They had dancers, let's just say. He would be able to see through the glass fridge doors while he was stocking them from behind. And then also, while he was filling those beer fridges, he said, let's just say there was more spillage on my shift than any other.
Oh, right on, brother.
makes working in the kitchen when you were a kid seem like a pretty bummer job.
I feel like a lot of kids' first jobs is being a dishwasher.
That's a big one. I was a dishwasher at a bakery for a little while. Made some decent money doing that, but what I hated about it was it's so isolating.
Yeah.
Dishwashing. Like, you really are by yourself, other than when people come and dump dishes next to the sink.
Although working in a kitchen, I feel like anyone who worked in a kitchen in high school probably smokes cigarettes now.
100%. Or is like working really hard to get off the darts.
Gateway to smoking, honestly, working in a kitchen.
You know the career site Indeed? It's one of those like job posting websites. They posted an article that said, here are some good first jobs to consider when you're a young person. Cashier, top of the list. I think that's one that like a lot of people could do well to work at because it would set you up to not be a dick as you get older.
Interested, and I know this is going to come across rude, but I'm interested to see how the next like generation of kids coming up is going to do with that because there's so much like anxiety and all this stuff with like the young kids right now. Like, are they going to be able to be cashiers? Like,
yeah, I mean, that is another one. Kind of like I said, when I worked in my folks' convenience store, you said like it forces you to be good with people. Mm-hmm. That's another sort of bonus to getting your kid a job as like a cashier, front of house in any situation. situation is they can sort of get over some of those social anxieties.
There's going to be a lack of eye contact at the convenience store in the next 10 years.
I'm also not against that as a customer. I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Another one on the list, bussing tables at a restaurant. Get a job like pulling dirty dishes off the tables, bringing them back to the dishwasher on there. Also says that you can make about $40,000 a year. That's Canadian on average. Working as a car wash attendant. I feel like that's a pretty solid job that I don't really think of as a first job for kids, but like as long as you're tall enough to hold the wand and spray the car from top to bottom.
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent gig.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah.
As a summer job, I would be okay with that. Then there is mover, which I feel like that's when you get into your like higher teen years. Like you can't be 12, 14 years old trying to help work at a moving company.
Oh, yeah, and then you're just working with some old guy who hates his life.
Yeah.
That's one of those jobs where you're a teenager working with some 40-year-old man for a whole summer.
Yeah. Like, you're kind of happy because you're getting paid, and he's kind of like, where did my life go? Why am I working with this child?
Or he's just treating you like dirt the whole... Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
And then another one on the list here that I think we didn't really cover, they church it up a little bit. They call it lawn care specialist, but just mowing lawns. Like, borrow your old man's mower, start working in the neighborhood, save up to buy your own kind of thing.
Mowing grass and shoveling driveways.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can build a little bit of an empire at, like, 14, even to 16 years old. And I feel like people... If you're in your 20s and you show up to someone's house and, like, I'll mow your lawn for some money... People are like, get out of here.
They're a lot less cool about it, for sure. Yeah.
But if you're 14 and you have access to a mower, like, you can build some bank just based on people being like, good for you, kid. Get out there.
If you're a grown man, you better have a truck with a company on it if you're asking to cut my grass.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Yeah, today's word is traduce. Yeah, traduce. It's Traduce. Traduce. And it's to expose, to shame, or blame using lies or misrepresentation, violate, or betray. Oh, you all know what I can say about that one. Anyways, that's about it. Have a great one. Cheers up.
I thought he was saying to-dos.
To-dos.
At first. Traduce.
Yeah, basically, if you're running your mouth about somebody and, not all of it's true, you're a traducer.
Oh, okay.
You're traducing.
So some people might say when I give you the...
Shame.
I'm traducing sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of the things you say about my midsection and my hairline are rather traduceful.
I haven't spoke about your hairline since I noticed that my hairline was going back.
That's true.
Keep that in mind.
That's true. That's karma.
So you know what?
All you're traducing.
Shame.
Traduce on you, dude. Traduce on you.
It sounds like the opposite of seduce.
Yeah, it does actually.
Either you can talk real nice to somebody and try and seduce them, or you can talk some real game and then you can traduce them.
I guess you could say politicians traduce all the time.
Oh, so much traducing in politics these days.
Which is funny because most of them are just full of deuce anyway, so...
And that's traduce, everybody.
Traduce. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.